What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Here, I'm across the street from the Wynn at Resorts World, where I like to play a lot of cash games, mainly because it's not super packed. Well, it is packed here, but you can start a bigger game pretty easily. There's always interest. And two, I just came back from busting a tournament, and I'm here to play cash. So this is probably the same day of whatever tournament I might have busted earlier that you guys already saw, because I'm trying to fit in as many cash game sessions as I can while this WSOP, because I know you guys want to see cash games, and you know, it's a good way to change it up too. So it's early in the night. I busted a few tournaments. I'm here at Resorts World to gamble it up now. We're playing 10-20. I'm gonna buy in for anywhere between 10 to 30,000. We'll see on what the average stack is at the table. Maybe there's gonna be a straddle on, maybe not. Who knows? I'm just gonna play some cards and I guess kind of relax and unwind from the tournament grind, because that obviously hasn't been going so great. But here we are, cash game. Like this video. I know you guys all like cash games. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's get our chips and play some cards. Strapping into the Resorts World 10-20 game, starting up a new table, and I buy in for 15,000. Early on in this cash game, we're playing four-handed because the table just opened up, and I peel pocket kings. Wow. Warm welcome back to cash games. I raise this up to $60 and get the small blind to 3-bet. Oh my God. 3 bets to $210 with about 2,000 in his stack. Action folds to me, and yeah, let's just get some more money in the middle, especially shorthanded. I'll be raising a whole lot with a bunch of trash, and I think it's worth being aggressive with good hands. So I decided to 4-bet it up to $500, and sadly he folds, but I'll take plus $200 to start this session any day of the week, and then followed by the next hand. The button raises up the action to $180. I think the straddle is on. Folds to me, and I peel pocket aces. Wow. Kings, then aces back-to-back to start off the session. Definitely a sign of good news. I 3-bet to 760, given how big that this player raised it up initially. And sadly, everyone folds. So once again, no action with my premiums, but I'll take it down pre-flop and not complaining about being up about $400 early on. Okay, time to see a flop now. I pick up Jack 7 of clubs in the big blind. There's a small blind raise to $60, and I defend here, going to a flop of Ace 9 8 rainbow with 1 club. He decides to c-bet $40 here, playing blind versus blind, and I have a gut shot straight draw, backdoor flush draws, so I decide to raise things up to 140. I'm playing in position, can certainly get aggressive as we're playing shorthanded like I said, and he decides to make the call for 100 more. We're going to a turn which comes the deuce of hearts. It's a complete brick here, and when he checks again, I think I just have a really good candidate to decide to overbet now. I have jack high, I have basically nothing, so I'm gonna bet big, hoping to get him off. So I size up to $400, and for my $400 bet, it's a big one, and he's not scared. Oh God. He decides to call, so we're going to navigate a river with just jack high and a gut shot straight draw. Let's go to a river. Bink the 10, please. It is a 3. All right. Got nothing going here, and when he checks for a third time, do I continue my story and blast off? Do I just give up and check back? And if you watch the channel, you know which way I'm leaning towards. It's blast off time. I decided to bet out $1,500 into the middle. I've made no money with my premiums, but I'm committing piles of money with just jack high, and luckily he ends up folding. Phew. Nice to get this one through. A little nerve-wracking early on in the session where things could have immediately gone very, very poorly, but he folds, so all things good. I win this pot. Improving from jack 7, I pick up jack 9 of clubs in the small blind. Action folds to me, and we're playing blind versus blind. I decided to limp in for 20. The big blind raises to $60 here, and I decide to make the call. There's definitely merit to potentially back raising here, but I call and see a flop of 9-7-5 all spades. Sitting with top pair, not a bad spot. I check. He bets $40, and I'm not going anywhere, not going to do anything else besides make the call. We're going to a turn now, which comes in 8. Board is a lot more connected. I have a gut shot straight draw, I guess. I check it over to him, and he basically bets out pot for about $220. Wow. All right. Every single time we play a hand, things start going off the rails with big bets, and I'm pretty unclear whether this is a call or fold. I think a lot of the time, if I didn't have a gut shot straight draw, I'd probably just fold my 9 a lot of the time, but I do have a draw. So let's stick in here and make the call. We're going to a river, which comes a jack. Improved, but not the way I wanted to improve. Any 6 or 10 is a straight now, and I decided to check, hoping to just get the showdown. Obviously, also lose to any flopped flushes as well. And sadly, he doesn't go for the checking option. He decides to jam. Goes all in for about $1,000. Okay, I have 2 pair, but I don't love it, and it's pretty meaningless with the jack. It doesn't help me out basically at all, so I'm going to give it to him. Nice hand. I let my cards go, thinking it's way too likely that I lose to some sort of straight. I lose to some flush. And yeah, 2 pair is no different than 1 pair on this board. All right, picking up some real hands once again. I have pocket 10s on the button, and there's a $40 straddle on. So the first player to act raises it up to $100. And when action folds to me, I decided to just make the call here. I think I can go either way with a call or raise. And given I'm on the button, I decided to just play in position. Let's see a flop when everyone folds. We're going to a flop of King 3-4 to hearts. Okay. He bets out $80 on a king high board, and I'm not going to do anything besides just make the call. Folding is obviously a little ridiculous, and raising is suicidal. So I make the call, and the turn is the king of spades. Pretty interesting card as the top pair is paired, making it more unlikely that I am up against a king for trips. But he doesn't care. He fires out $380. Oh, he's already polarizing his range, already representing a very strong hand like trips or just a whole lot of nothing or a heart draw or something like that. So yeah, I guess I just make the call once again. Either he has nothing or everything. Let's find out. The river is the 3 of hearts. The board is double paired now. The front door flush gets there. This is a very dynamic card, and I'm not sure what to make of it, but clearly my opponent knows what he's doing because he fires out $1,500 now, increasing his bet even more significantly, and I'm in a pretty uncomfortable spot. I don't have the 10 of hearts in my hand, which unblocks some of the flushes that he can have here. I don't know how often a flush is going to be betting this large for this sizing, but I just feel like I have better hands to call, mainly just like a king. I also can have flushes that could call as well, and I think pocket 10s just falls into a category of being in just a brutal and miserable spot. Ultimately, I just think that I have better hands in here than just 10s, and I can find better spots to call off for $1,500. So I'm going to toss this into the muck. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Would you have called? Would you have folded? I think I'm in a pretty miserable spot regardless, and I don't win either way. All right, our first experiment with 10s didn't work out, but in the next hand, there's a low jack raise to $100. The button 3 bets to $300, and I peel good old 10s again in the small blind. All right, a lot of action going on pre-flop here with the raise and re-raise, and I don't want to just make the call versus this re-raise from out of position. So when I'm either choosing to 4-bet or folds, I'm not talking about this hand because I folded, obviously. I decided to 4-bet to $900. I'm playing out of position here, and these players have been pretty active so far, and here we are. The low jack makes the call, the initial raiser. He covers me, so I'm playing about 15K effective. And surprisingly, the button thinks about it and just folds. All right. Didn't expect the 3-better to get out of the way here, but here we are out of position. Heads up, the flop is 10-7-4 2 spades. Oh my God. Top set is all we needed here in this spot. Seems like a pretty easy spot to play. I'm going to bet and bet for value, so I just size small, $600 out of position here in this 4-bet pot. I'm sitting with the nuts, and even better, he makes the call. Let's build a pot here with the nuts. The turn is a 6. This board here overall just isn't really one that's going to favor my entire range that whole much, and I think it's very credible for him to hit this board more than me, obviously. Obviously talking about the theoretical sense because I have top set, but this player has been playing a ton of hands, and I think he is happy to take a stab at this if I were to check it at him. So I'm going to play out of position here and be a little trappy. I check it over to him hoping that he'll take the bait, but sadly he checks it back. So maybe he has some sort of hand with showdown value. We're going to go to a river, which comes a 3. Now, any 5 makes a straight, which is pretty relevant, and ultimately with just top set, I'm trying to get paid somehow. Maybe he has an overpair, or maybe he just has a weak 1-pair hand that could bluff catch. I throw in $2,500 trying to get paid at this spot, and he quickly calls. Wow, show my hands, expect to have the nuts when I don't get raised, and he only shows pocket queens. Oh, what a cooler. Didn't know he had such a strong hand. If only I knew, I would have just gone bet, 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 and gotten a whole lot more money in the middle, but I can't really complain as I sucked out versus him, and I'm going to scoop in a pile of chips and make a bunch this hand. In the following hand, the $40 straddle is announced to be on all night. So playing 10, 20, 40 here, I pick up king, queen offsuit in the big blind. There's a cutoff open to $100, and I decided to 3-bet this hand. I can go either with a call or 3-bet, but taking the aggressive route, I 3-bet to 400, and the cutoff makes the call. We're going to a flop of king, king, 3, 2 diamonds, just running hot right now. Not only do I flop top set the last hand, now I flop trips with a good kicker. I decided to bet out $240 here, down betting here on this flop, and he is a non-believer and makes the call for $240. Now, going to a turn, which comes a blank 5 of clubs, and I think it's just time to pile chips into the middle. We're playing super deep. I have such a great hand, and I'm going to be bluffing a lot as well, and this is just one of the times I'm going to have it. I bet close to the size of the pot for $1,300, and this player is going to think for a while here. Going over decision, puts on his thinking cap. We're just praying for calls, or maybe if he were to raise, some alarm bells would go off, but I'm not too concerned right now and hoping to see some more action. He does pull through and make the calls, so got a lot going on here. Pot is building big time. Let's see a river. The river comes another 5. Runner, runner, full house, and now I'm just sitting with the absolute nuts. I only lose to pocket 5s, which there's one combination of, and yeah, now I have the mega nuts, and the only issue here is that I'm not sure how I'm ever going to get paid here in this spot. There's just not a whole lot that can call besides a non-believing pocket pair, but yeah, I'm just going to go for it and decide to rip it all in. It's about $4,700 total, and as long as he thought about it on the turn, this player thinks about it for quite some time, even longer. So the only thing that I'm thinking about is seeing him make the call and getting paid big time. That would totally make my night and make for some really good content. And after a long time, he flicks in a call. Let's go. Clearly I have the winner. I show the king, queen. He mucks, probably had, I guess, just a pocket pair that didn't believe me. And I am going to win a monster pot for this game. I get paid big time. All of the chips get pushed my way, and I am just really happy to be involved in this hand. All right, we're playing some big pots, and why not play another big one? Pocket 9s in +1. I raise it up to $100 here. The cutoff makes the call, and then the button 3-bets to $500. All right, I'm playing super deep against this specific button player. He has plenty of chips in his stack, so I decide to make the call here before the cutoff. He does something unexpected and jams. The button folds really quickly, and this isn't a normal shove, by the way. This is a $7,000 to $8,000 total all in. And I'm just scratching my head like, what is happening in this spot? I ask him if he doesn't have a pair, then I might be inclined to gamble and flip for his stack. But even then, it's just pretty ridiculous to think about even making the call with pocket 9s versus a jam of this size. It certainly doesn't make any sense at all. So whatever. Kudos to this player. I muck my 9s, and he proudly shows us the classic premium 8-6 of spades. Oh my God. Nice hand to this gentleman here. He just owned myself and the button player. And yeah, he takes down $1,000 for free, uncontested, and just wanted to show the crazy dynamics of this game so far. And even more dynamics happen as the whole table agrees to play a round of stand-up. Essentially, everyone stands up before this round. If you win a hand, you sit down. And the last person to win a hand or still standing up has to pay everyone a bounty. And this is the final 2 players. It's me versus the guy to my right. We're the last 2 people to be standing, and none of us want to be playing this bounty. So I'm in the button with Jack 4 offsuit. The cutoff that I'm battling with raises to $100. And because of the stand-up dynamics, I decide to 3-bet to $300 because this hand's awful and I don't want to pay the bounty. Anyways, it folds around to him, and he, of course, has to make the call because if he folds, then he's going to have to owe everyone money anyways. So he's flicking it into the middle and playing this hand, and we're going to go to battle when the flop comes ace, king, 4, 2 diamonds. On a board that should easily smash my 3-betting range here, he checks it over to me, and I'm going to bet and hopefully get a fold. I bet $220 with Jack 4 high, and after a while, he ends up calling. Oh dear. We're going to go to a turn now, which comes a jack. Wow, I have a pair, and he checks for a second time. And, you know, when I hit my pair, I think it's another good spot to continue bluffing or betting. In hindsight, probably a check makes the most sense as played because these are not normal 3-betting ranges and normal dynamics. Anyways, I bet $600, and sadly, he goes for a sick check raise to $2,400. All right, I believe him. I'll fold. I get punished for betting this turn card when I probably shouldn't have, and he shows us the 10-9 offsuit for 10 high. I get absolutely owned, and not only do I lose $1,000 in this specific hand, I also owe everyone $60 to the table. Fat L for me this hand. I get absolutely destroyed and embarrassed, but I have to show you guys all of the good along with the bad. The game is clearly full of action and fun, and why not bump up the action as there is an $80 straddle on board, and action starts with the hijack player who raises to $220. I peel pocket sevens, and this is obviously a good hand to see a flop with, so for that price, I make the call. They're red and fun, everyone folds. We're going to a flop of King 4-5, 2 clubs, and a spade. This player starts to check with me, and I think I can go either way with a check or bet. With 2 cards under my pair, I think there's more merit to be betting to protect my hand right now, so I decide to bet $240, just protect pocket sevens against overcards, and well, he makes the call. So pot is building here with the $80 straddle on. We're going to a turn which comes a bink 7 of spades. How sick is this? He checks for a second time, and all right, I didn't expect to hit the 7, but now we're going to go for max value. Hoping he slow played a king of some sort, I bet out $800. This player doesn't look super comfortable, but he ends up making the call, so maybe it's unlikely that he has a king. I'm not really sure what he could have, maybe a pocket pair over a 7, but here we are. Going to a river now, which comes a king! Boating up is huge. I basically just have the nuts. I was already very comfortable with my hand, but things have gotten even better. Praying now that this player has a king so it can be a complete cooler. He checks it over again for a third time, and yeah, I'm going to bet big with the nuts here and polarize to a very strong hand or a weak hand, so I size to 2,200. Once again, we put another opponent into the tank, and after a while, it's pretty clear that he doesn't have a king. It's pretty clear he's not thinking about raising me. And once again, I'm back in another position where I just have to sit back, relax, and hope to get paid. And after a while, praying for a call, he ends up making the call. Let's go. I tell him I probably sucked out on the turn. I show the pocket sevens, and it's a massive session. Some of my bluffs are getting through, and all of my big value bets are getting paid, and that's a good recipe to win a good amount here. One that's much needed after all the tournament pain, and I guess this is the beauty of cash games. You can just win so much money when you hit the goods. For one of the last interesting hands of the night, I pick up ace-10 of diamonds in the small blind. There's a cutoff open to $100, the button 3 bets to $300, and once again, we're in the small blind position, kind of similar to the spot where I'd pocket 10s. I think I just either want to 4-bet or fold in this spot, and like I said, I'm not talking about this hand because I decided to fold. So I decided to 4-bet to $900. Let's go to battle here. Sadly, the cutoff player seems inclined to commit the rest of his freaking stack in the middle and 5-bet jams of about $4,000, give or take. The button folds, and that's going to shut everything down for here. I think I was 4-bet bluffing. I'm certainly not calling off a 5-bet, so I just fold and give him $900. He later shows pocket kings, and that's good enough to win it, but this is how we end off the session, donating back $900 into the game. Okay, it's nights like these that really question my sanity as to why I'm spending so much time playing tournaments. Granted, I ran really well today. Just cashed out, obviously good results. Today just went really smooth, just ran really well, had value a lot, didn't need to bluff too much, and the few bluffs that I had kind of worked out. So, I mean, it's great when things work out this way and get paid, but it does question why, I played 4 hours of cash games, and the game was pretty tough. I mean, everyone was really good at poker, so definitely had to navigate, and I didn't know if I was really winning in that lineup or not. But here I am recording a win. In the game for 15,000, out of it 4. a grand total of 28,360. That is good. That feels good to play for 4 or 5 hours, walk away with a big win. And now tomorrow I'm back to playing more tournaments. So here's that. So I know you guys all love the high stakes cash games. Here it is. It's been a lot of fun. I really like playing these, especially here. I just walk in at Resorts World, ask to start up a game, and then all of a sudden the game runs. So it's perfect. It's nice to come out with a win. And I'm still questioning why I play tournaments, but here I am. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking to the end. This was fun. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you.